Welcome to On the Issues. I'm your host, Nicholas Balsi, and today it's great to be joined with Wendi FOX. She's an author, motivational speaker, and comedian. She relates all the fields together and takes a package of a presentation to colleges and universities to speak about alcohol awareness and a variety of ways students can manage their stress. I heard a lot of different things about, alcohol and different experiences you've had in the past. What's the main message that you have for youth of today?
I'm sorry. Did you hear that? Did you hear the end about the spirit of the child?
Yes, I did. I was there. Yep,
okay.
At the end.
When did you dart out?
I darted out. an hour and 10 minutes in.
Did I go that over?
It was about an hour and a half.
I'm
right?
sorry, that's not normal.
It's okay. You were getting into it.
What was no? I was so confused. I was trying to get out of it.
Oh, okay.
What's the main message?
I think my main
message is to be authentic, to find your passion and then apply that to the world, and that will be your purpose. Mm-hmm. To have a good time, to learn to find the funny, to learn to find the lesson in everything. I think to follow your heart and to not use outside stimulant to any kind of outside stimulant. And I'm not saying not to, but just try to modify it. Do the best that you can and try to make yourself happy without it.
Now, what influence has alcohol and different things like that, does that have on youth of today in the decisions that they may make?
That's what worries me. Every decision that they make is affected by their choices. And when you get a little bit older and you get to be my age and things don't go right, you say to yourself, oh wow, I have no one to blame but myself. Every choice that I've made up until this point puts me to where I am right now, and that's kind of a hard pill to swallow. So you try to get people to make better choices and more conscious choices and healthy choices, not even better, but healthy choices that apply to their lives, so that they end up where they want to be.
Now, you had mentioned a variety of things as far as, I guess, different. You had quite a few experiences of your own. Mm-hmm. Is there anything specific that had made you feel like you have to talk about your message to large groups of people throughout colleges?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that funny? Because you're like, what did you wake up one day and think, I need to tell all these people this story. Right. I need to make a fool of myself for money. No, you know what? It was an accident. I was doing stand-up comedy, and then there was a speaker on alcohol and drugs, and he was stuck in a snowstorm, and my agent said, hey, can you go talk about your experiences? And I was like, no. And he was like, well, it pays this amount of money. And I was like, okay, now what airport do I show up to? And I started doing it just for money in the beginning, and then it just became my passion. It just helping people make better choices, and making their lives a little bit easier and inspiring them and making them laugh just seemed like a great idea. I mean, think about it. Making people laugh for a living and then sending some type of a message. I mean, what else could you want? And you get paid. And that's a great life. So, and I work an hour a night, unless of course I'm sick. Then I work an hour and a half a night because I'm just trying to get what usually takes an hour. Right. In an hour and a half. The other thing I was going to say too is one of my big things is I want people to not let life happen to them. Like you have to say, am I letting life happen to me, or am I making life happen? Like, are things happening to me, or am I taking an active role in my life? Go ahead.
You had also talked about how we should sort of use younger children as an example of I guess how we should behave on a daily basis. I guess it's the best way to put it. But behave as far as choices and decision making and kind of living our lives socially. How does that relate to the alcohol situation? Because you were talking about that first, then you led into the children example.
I think that if you follow children, it allows you to see the world a little bit more simplified. And I think that your generation, I think these are the numbers. I think you spend like $35.5 billion a year in the marketplace, and you make $2.5 billion. Okay, so right there, that kind of tells me that you're a little bit off balance and that you guys are buying to make happy. You're trying to buy happy. Okay, going back to the spirit of a child, they don't need anything to make themselves happy. They're always having a good time. They're not dependent upon whatever the outside stimulant is to be happy. And that's basically what I want. And they're very articulate. They know how to set boundaries. They're very kind. They have compassion. They're aware. They're socially aware. They know what goes on around them. I just think they're a really good example to live life by.
Is there something at the center of these drinking problems and binge drinking for youth of today that's common among all of it? Because I know it's different situations, like you said, but is there something that's common that you feel affects people as a whole in this area?
I think one of the things that I think, and my philosophy is a little bit different. I don't think that, I think that alcohol and drugs are a symptom of a bigger problem. I think you're only going to reach for outside stimulant when something's not emotionally going right or how you would like for it to be in your world. Okay, then you're going to reach for outside stimulant to try to make yourself happy. All right, I'm one of these people that I really am not going to buy into, and they're just going to wring my neck for this, but I really think that it's a symptom. I don't think that it's a disease. I think that if you start to solve those internal problems, those emotional struggles that we have, which basically is evolution. I mean, but we're always just looking for the easy way out because we don't want to feel uncomfortable, we don't want to feel pain, or we don't want to feel shame, we don't want to feel pain, we just don't want to feel. So then we start to reach for outside stimulant. When in fact, if you would learn about yourself, figure out why you feel that way, what's happening, how to work through your emotions, then I don't think that we'd reach for as many things as we do.
Now, this kind of carried through in your lecture about how students should, and youth, of course, manage their stress. So do you have any thoughts on that, about managing stress,
different ways of decompression? And that's one of the things, the spirit of the child, I mean, is a technique. It's a method of staying decompressed. Like when you start to feel yourself get nervous, what would you do if you were 5? Think, oh, I'm in this situation, what would I do if I was 5? Like when you go to a job interview, you're nervous, right? Because you want that person to hire you, you want them to like you. It never dawns on you, I need to interview this person. It never dawns on you to start asking about that job, right? Because you're only worried about being liked. You're only worried about getting hired. Chances are you might get hired and you might not even know enough about that job that you might not even like that job. But a little kid would be different. They would ask a million questions. Well, what am I going to be doing? Where will we be going? What kind of candy will I get? What color is this going to be? What color is that going to be? And they just intuitively ask a million questions. And they usually know what they're getting into before they do because they're just so curious. And they're not concerned about that person. They don't make decisions based upon whether someone likes them or not. And we do. And that's what I'm trying to change.
Do you think lowering the drinking age would have an effect on any of this
in a
positive way?
I don't think lowering the drinking age has anything to do. Because let's face it, like I said, okay, if there's no alcohol, you guys are going to be doing NyQuil Jello mold shots, okay, if you have emotional issues. Right. It has nothing to do with the drinking age. It has nothing to do with the alcohol. This is not a problem that has anything to do with alcohol. This is our problem as a society, that we are having difficulty finding happiness within ourselves.
Well, they say that in Europe, since kids are kids from when they're little are raised with alcohol as something that's not like you're doing anything so illegal or whatever, and that it helps society and helps those kind of problems when compared to America and all the problems they have in reference to that. Do you buy into that argument?
I don't know if you can say that because they don't live like we do. They're very simple. They get up in the morning and they're just very simple. They don't need all the extra chaos that we do. I mean, we bring on so much chaos on ourselves. I mean, think of what you do in the course of a day. Like you have a list that's probably a mile long, right? And if you handed that list to somebody else and said, do this, you would almost feel guilty, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Exactly. So why are you doing it to yourself? Okay, they don't place those huge responsibilities on themselves like we do. I mean, they go to have a bagel. They enjoy a bagel, okay? They have a glass of wine. They enjoy the glass of wine. We don't. We don't enjoy it. We're hoping that exactly. We throw it back. Look at the camera, guys. Like, we throw it back in hopes that it'll take 2 minutes, that we become numb, and we can deal with the rest of the things on our list for today. So they drink for completely different reasons than we do.
So you don't think that's like a humane issue? It has something to do with culture?
We're brainwashed. Think of what we watch on television. We're brainwashed. You have to have this in order to be happy. Or you have to have this in order to look good or feel good or have confidence. We think we can purchase. We think that we can purchase respect. Think about it. Think of how many things you purchase in an attempt to be respected. Think of how many things that you do from when you wake up in the morning. The whole intent of that is to be respected. Instead of going and living your passion and acting out your purpose. I mean, what if that's what we did? And it's hard because everybody's judged. I mean, we're a very judgmental society. And in other countries, you'll notice that they're not. Everybody kind of does their own thing. Everybody kind of goes about their way. Everybody bounces to the beat of their own drum.
All right. And then you said something about just drive analogy. And I was just wondering what the
I said some things that I don't normally say. I don't know what I said.
Yeah.
It was the antibiotic talking.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to.
I know what it was.
It was the alternative to.
It was almost like you guys are starting wasn't it like when you're starting your life and you have to choose your majors.
That's it.
And it's kind of like
it's just like throwing you into a car.
It's like your parents say, "Here's the keys to your life," and you're like, "I don't know how to drive my life." Well, it's the time to drive it, and you're like, "Well, how do I start the car? Where's the gas hole?" You know nothing about the car. You have no idea where you're going because you don't know enough to know where you're going. And your dad's like, "Well, pick somewhere nice," and you're like, "Well, where would that be?" You know, he's like, "I heard that road. Go down that road." You don't have any idea. And you're expected to plan your life. I think we're expected to plan our lives too early.
Is there an alternative to that system?
I would be here like another 5 hours. Yeah, there is an alternative, but I don't know that we could turn it around. I'm gonna experiment with my son, and then I'll get back to you in 20 years. Okay?
Sounds good. Starting much earlier, or later. I'm sorry.
You know. Actually, I think that I would start much earlier with a purpose and passion, but I would expect less. I would expect. I don't think that you should have to make your decisions as early as you do. Like I said, you have to pick a major in your last year of high school. Well, in the last year of high school, all you're concerned about is who you're going to the prom with. I mean, you're making life decisions, and you have no idea where you're going or what you're doing or what's expected of you or what you even like. You don't even know. I mean, earlier in your life, there need to be classes on who are you, who am I. You need to write a book about yourself. What do I like? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? What makes me happy? I mean, find out who you are. I mean, Human 101, who am I 101? That's what you need to know. That needs to be one of the classes that you take before you even get to college.
All right. And I guess my last question would be, you also said stay in the moment for your advice to youth about managing stress, saying that to create chaos that really isn't there. You kind of
we do. We create things that aren't even happening because we're living in the moment that's not happening, the moment in front of us. Like I said, when I woke up this morning, I'm outside of Chicago. You know, I think, oh my God, I have to get to New Jersey. I'm sick. I have pneumonia. And it's 4 a.m, and wow, this is going to be hard. How am I going to pull this off? But I did. And you have to just go 1 minute at a time. Okay, I did that. Oh, I did that. Go from one step to the next step.
And you said that this relates to your message about the whole drinking and alcohol awareness because if we don't project into the future and if we project in the future and create more stress, we use that as a way to...
We're distracting ourselves with the chaos and the stress too. I mean, if we worried about the things that are really important and not about the things that really aren't important, I mean, we could probably project into the future, like get a plan into the future. But I mean, we sit and worry about the future. I'm not going to be able to do this, or I'm not going to be able to do that. And lots of people will just... Have you ever had a project that was due and then all of a sudden the project became so humongous that you thought, oh, this project is way bigger than I am. It's ugly. It like has a name by the time you get done being afraid of it. And then finally, once you do it, you're like, oh, why was I putting that off? That was not such a big deal. You were projecting it was a problem, and it really wasn't. You were the problem. Your projecting was the problem.
All right.
And if I keep talking, I'm going to talk in circles.
It's okay. I want to thank you for sitting. Well, I want to thank you for watching On the Issues today. And of course, I want to thank Wendi FOX here, who is a little bit sick, I understand.
A little bit.
So we have to wrap this up by doing a...
Oh, yeah, because we don't want to get him sick.
Instead of actually
send him to the hospital.
shaking her hand, which is the general...
With the walking pneumonia. This is the walking pneumonia handshake.
That's it.
There we go.
So I want to thank you again for coming
thanks.
and expressing your opinions on a variety of issues and helping educate the population of Ryder. So
Thanks for inviting me.